Hi everyone, today we're going to cover the taboo topic of finances. Now, why do I say taboo? Because it's not a comfortable topic to talk about. For most people, they try and avoid it. So even when we have a lot of money, we don't like announcing it. You know, we're often told not to brag and boast about our financial position. But even when we're struggling, when we're experiencing lack, we are discouraged from talking about it, or we become uncomfortable talking about it. We want to posture, we want to pretend that everything's okay. The thing about finances is you can only improve it when you acknowledge it. It is a very important part of life. We need money to exchange the planet that we live on. That's the currency, money, the way we improve things. And so trying to avoid the subject is not going to help us get better at improving our finances. Even when I recently spoke with some of my clients, I asked them why it had taken them quite some time to make the leap of getting coaching or getting career documents in order and so on, when they knew for some time that they wanted big changes in their career, or they wanted to improve their prospects, or they wanted to make more money. And for many of them, they said they didn't think that they were worth investing in. They didn't actually want to waste that money on themselves. For some, they simply didn't have the money at the time. And for others, they were mismanaging their finances. They were honest enough to admit that and knew that they were mismanaging their finances, so obviously didn't have the extra to invest in themselves. We only improve our financial situation by acknowledging the importance of money in the exchange of everything that we do in life, and by acknowledging that it's a subject that's uncomfortable but that still has to be faced head on. And of course, when we're going through lack, we need to especially acknowledge that and find ways and means to improve our finances. The boring way to improve your finances. Now, you probably don't want to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway because it is simple. The boring way to improve your finances is to create and maintain a budget. I know you were looking for that wonderful star kind of moment where I revealed something fabulous and out of the blue, but it's not. There isn't some star moment or some huge revelation. The only way to start improving your finances is to track what your income is versus what you're spending. That means create a budget. And budgets are very simple and very easy to do. Simply make a list of all the different incomes you're getting, and I mean tracking every bit of income. So income from your jobs, birthday money, Christmas money, dividends, interest from your savings. Keep a track of all the income coming in. And then on the opposite side on the column, the dreaded side, the expenses side, track what you're spending on. Because the thing is, we often just accumulate spending without realizing that there's opportunities to save. So, you know, you could be having 4, 5, 6 coffees a week. And if you cut back on, say, 50% of that, you know, what does a coffee cost these days? About $4, right? So if you're having about 5 coffees a week, we're talking about $20. Can I still do math? Let me just think. Yes, $20. And you cut back on 50%, that's $10. Now, $10 doesn't seem like a lot of money. But over time, $10 put away every week, or put in the rainy day account, or the account that you're going to start building money in to perhaps invest in yourself, that could pay for a short course, that could give you opportunities. So don't discount that boring way. Create and maintain a budget. I know it's not glamorous, and I know we look for glamorous solutions, but stick with this boring one. Start with the boring way and watch how your finances slowly start to improve. The humble way to improve your finances. Ask for help. Plain and simple. I'm going to share a story. When I was at one of my worst points, this was when the relationship with my daughter's father had ended. I was 4 months pregnant, was left with a lot of debt. The house sold at a loss, and I was going on maternity leave. I had to pay back debt, and I knew there was not going to be any good income for a while. So after spending many nights crying, wondering why this had happened to me, berating myself, being worried about supporting a child, all of those things, and believe me, there were buckets of tears. I actually went to the bank manager, made an appointment, and told her the truth. I owned the fact that I had ended up in a financial situation where I was looking at around $45,000 to $50,000 worth of debt. Had no idea how I was going to pay that, especially because I was going on maternity leave. And asked her for help. I just said, I need you to guide me on how I can best manage this. And because I was honest and because I asked for help, I actually got help. She drew up a plan that was manageable, and I think it was only something like $50 a week or something. That was all I could manage at the time. But she had faith in me, drew up the plan, and I stuck to the plan. And as I went through the next 2 years of raising my daughter, she was an infant, I stayed in touch with this bank manager, and she would rejig, adjust when I had extra income, because I also started looking for ways to make extra income. I would just add to paying off the debt. I would just put the money straight to the debt. And so I actually learned to improve my finances by asking for help. So that is what I call the humble way to improve your finances. Don't be too proud to ask for help. And it may be that you're not necessarily asking for a handout, for a monetary handout, but you can ask for advice and for guidance, and especially from people who have succeeded, who have tips and tricks on how you can save, how you can spend, how you can get extra income. Don't be too proud to ask for help when trying to improve your finances. The honest way to improve your finances. Plain and simple terms, take ownership of what you're spending your money on. A lot of the times we like to delude ourselves. We don't like to take ownership. And more often than not, I think for all of us, there is an element of frivolous spending. Do you really need that many pairs of shoes? Do you really need that many pieces of jewelry? Do you really need that many coffees a week? Do you really need to buy your lunch every day? Could you perhaps make your own lunch? Save money by going to get some things at the supermarket and actually making your own lunch. There's an opportunity to save. And so we do need to take ownership of what we spend our money on. People often say, I don't have the finances to improve certain things in my life. I don't have the finances to invest in, for example, getting my career documents up to date. Or I don't have the finances to invest in some education, in upskilling. But when you take an honest inventory of what you're spending your money on, and you start finding that frivolous spending, the spending that when you ask the question, do I really need to spend this money on this thing? And the answer, if you're answering honestly, is no. That's when you need to really take ownership of how you're spending your money. And take ownership of what you really feel about you and growing yourself and investing in yourself. Because here's the truth. If you really believe in improving your life and you really believe that you want to have a change, you will find the ways to invest. You will peel back on that frivolous spending. You will know that the frivolous spending, you can peel back on it. It may be for a short time, may only have to be for 3 months, 6 months, or whatever. But peeling back on the frivolous spending is going to give you the finances to start investing in yourself in small ways. And from small things, big things grow. So be honest about how you're spending your money. Take ownership of it. That's the honest way to improve your finances. The dreamy way to improve your finances. So we don't want everything around money to become heavy and restrictive. And so I call this the dreamy way to improve your finances, and that's to develop an abundance mindset. And obviously one of the best ways to develop an abundance mindset is to see the future. Take time to dream about your future, about how you would like that to be, especially how you would like your finances to be. Nothing wrong with dreaming. Nothing wrong with window shopping. Go and look at some of the things that you might want. Obviously, as you're trying to grow your finances, you don't want to fall back into the frivolous spending. But what you do want to do is to reward the small steps of progress. So one of the things I do, for example, is I set a goal. I decide that I am going to reward myself with a pair of fabulous heels, or I'm going to reward myself with a pampering treatment, a massage. And then I set the goal for what I want to do, whether that goal is about taking the time to upskill, or whether that goal is about improving something in my life. When I reach that goal, I give myself that reward. I make sure that I choose the reward in proportion to the progress that I'm making. Obviously, if I'm making small steps of progress, I'm not going to go spend $10,000 on a trip overseas. That's something that I work towards. So if I've achieved a certain amount in my business, or I've done a certain amount of coaching, for example, then I might say, okay, I'll accumulate cash over time in my little saver, in my little holiday saver account, and then I'll take a trip. I love traveling, so for me, travel is a reward, but it's not something I'm going to go do every month or every second or third month, for example. And so reward yourself. It's important to, because you don't want to just be slogging away at life and feeling like there are no rewards for your progress. So the dreamy way to improve finances is to develop that abundance mindset, to look at the things that you think you might like, to visualize it, hold the vision, and then as you progress, and when you've achieved the goal or the milestone that you've set yourself in a certain area of progress in your life, you give yourself that reward. Very important, wonderful, dreamy way to continue to build finances.